Saludos Hispanoamérica, soy Víctor X, bienvenidos al Downtown de Los Ángeles en California. Desde aquí les tenemos detalles acerca de Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, la película dirigida por Frank Miller y Robert Rodríguez. Por favor, disfruten.
Sin City's where you go in with your eyes open. Or you don't come out at all. How did I get here?
I just think Marv is lives in this world. He has his issues. He's got some problems, some authority issues, and some. Marv doesn't really think of the big picture. He thinks he's in the moment, kind of. Whether that's the medication or that's just the way Marv was raised. I'm sure Marv was just like the way he was when he was little. So Marv doesn't really deal with repercussions or things like that, and pays the price for it. And he likes, he lives in the nightlife, and he likes all the characters you see they appear in certain places where Marv is comfortable in his sort of neighborhood, I think Robert and Frank have such a comfortable relationship and understanding of Frank's work that it's a pleasure to go to work.
Yeah, Robert and Frank, and I know they like calling themselves like a monster with two heads, and I think that's very true. They respect each other so much, they love each other, and that's quite contagious actually. Like Frank knows everything, he's kind of a dictionary, he gave birth to these characters. So, anytime you wanted to know what was the character's backstory or how to say a line, he would kind of help you to find the tone of it. Robert is also an amazing artist. He's been able to translate Frank's vision onto the screen, and he frames every shot like a painting.
Deadly little Miho.
Oh, Deadly Little Miho. This is actually the prequel to Sin City. So, it's a younger version of herself, and the way Frank Miller explained Miho to me was, you have no idea what she's thinking, because she always has this cold stone kind of stare. Miho kind of owes her life to Dwight. When she was younger, at around the age of 15, when she was kind of starting off, fighting for Sin City, she ran into a group of guys and she got into some trouble, and Dwight saved her life.
Looks like trouble.
Looks like Christmas.
Ambientada después del suicidio de Hartigan, Bruce Willis, esta historia se centra en Nancy, interpretada por Jessica Alba, quien trata de hacer frente a su muerte.
I feel like people are now really get to immerse themselves in Frank's, Sin City graphic novel, and the way that the story is being told. I feel like 3D is dealt with in the most beautiful and the most artistic way. It's gorgeous, it's mesmerizing. And you really feel like you're part of a painting. I think people can look forward to Nancy kicking ass and taking names. In the first one, she was this beautiful, innocent, sweet victim. She was a damsel in distress. Hartigan came and was her knight in shining armor. But then the devastation of him committing suicide and leaving her alone in this rotten town, it soils her, and she She gets, you know, sad and depressed. She's an alcoholic. She's a mess, really. And then she, instead of getting swallowed up by Sin City, she emerges as this pretty badass warrior.
So the character I play is called Johnny, and he's got a certain magic about him. There's something about his luck that you can't quite explain, and you don't know if it's his skill or it's just haphazard, but he's got a charm, and he can know which slot machine will win big, and he can deal a deck of cards around to 5 guys at a table, even though this hand has had all of its bones shattered. He's, like I said, he's sort of larger than life. In this movie, when everything is designed to be so graphical, that here's this element and then here's this element, the character is here and the snow is doing that, it's designed for that. It makes sense as a 3D movie because of just its nature. It's in its bones. It's in how Frank Miller drew it. And so I was excited to shoot this in 3D. It does make it a more fun time to see.
What have I done?
You're the only man I ever loved.
Death is just like life in Sin City. It always wins.
La población de Sin City está compuesta por personas que se encuentran viviendo allí porque quieren o por culpa de las circunstancias.
I mean, the thing about Sin City that's so different, obviously, it's all shot on green screen, and my experience on the first one was very wild because I'd never done anything like that, and nothing had been done like that before. It was very interesting doing this one because I shoot on Heart of Dixie. I only had 1 day to come down and shoot. They let me have 1 day, and so that was the first day of filming, and nobody was cast yet. So I had to do my scene with no other actors, 5 pieces of tape, 1 hand, and they're like, maybe it's gonna be Brolin, maybe Fassbender, we're not sure who's gonna be in these scenes yet. So I'm literally acting to like nobody, and then I play twins, so I'm acting to air and nobody and 5 pieces of tape. It was the craziest, most ludicrous experience, but the best one at the same time, because when you're working with Robert and with Frank, and you know them and you love them and I've trusted them, they're like family, so it's all good.
You know what? He just tries new things all the time, and 99.9% of them work. And funny and crazy and hardcore and great women and funny characters and just a lot of surprises, which is why I go to the movies. I want to be surprised.
I call his crew, I call them radars. Remember Radar on MASH? Yeah, okay. Because Robert will do, and he'll just move to another set and it's already set up. It's all done, so he just shoots. So it's quick. I hate sitting in the trailer. Like in big production movies, you sit in the trailer and wait. It reminds me of a jail cell. And in Robert's, you don't have a lot of downtime, so that's what's great.
No, he's not. No, he kind of built his brand about doing things his way. I started working with Robert for about 12 years ago, so I have a long history with him. Working with him has been a real great experience. He's a one-man show. He does. He can, if it was up to him, he'd do everything himself. Write, direct, compose, edit, produce. He can do it all. Luckily for me, there's not enough hours in the day to do it all, so I get to help him with the music.
I don't think it wasn't very feminine. It felt very raw and rough and like grimy and sad, but it was fun. It was cool. It was really intense.
my experience. When I saw the film, I mean, not only did I like the film, and not every film you do, you look at and you go, oh wow, this is wonderful, I'm so glad I'm in this film. This is one of those films. But no, I've never been involved. I mean, maybe Men in Black a little bit because I didn't look at dailies and I was scared about how that was going to turn out. And then when I saw it, I was happy with what we had pulled off, or what we had, what I thought was going to be a massive failure turned out to be successful, at least, in pulling off that character. With this, I had I imagined one movie because I was resorting to that. And when I saw it, I was just blown away. And I think technically it's so much closer to Frank's drawings, which he's always been loyal to. So that's a wonderful thing to see. It's not like he took it off in his own direction and made it about me. He really became more loyal to Frank's drawings, which I think is great.
Al regreso, más información acerca de estos fascinantes dibujos de silueta blanca, solo aquí, en 35 milímetros, desde el downtown de Los Ángeles, en California.
My father was a great man. A hero, so they say. Sometimes the world doesn't need another hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.
My prince.
Oh, I've missed you.
Something troubles you.
The Sultan is preparing for battle and requires 1,000 boys for his army, including your son.
Run to your mother.
Look away! You can't protect us.
I'll find a way.
I have been waiting an eternity for a man of your strength to arrive.
Welcome to your life.
What is it you are seeking?
I want the power to destroy my enemies and save my family.
There's no turning back.
Drink, Dracula.
Welcome to your life. What's happening to you?
And the thing meant fear, not a ghost. Something else.
There's a room where the light won't find you.
I see the devil inside him!
Walls come tumbling down.
Do you think you are alive because you can fight? You are alive because of what I did to save you!
The world.
Never forget who I am.
La ciudad se fundó en 1991 y salió de la increíble imaginación y hábil pluma del maestro del cómic moderno, Mr. Frank Miller. Es una ciudad que existe tanto en sentido literal como figurado, en blanco y negro, un mundo duro y despiadado, tanto desde afuera como desde adentro.
Oh, you missed last call, boys. Move or die.
Most of my scenes are with Dwight, who is played by Josh Brolin. Yeah, Josh I've always been a big fan, and I was so happy it was him. He is, wonderful, very intense, and I love his face. I think it's so perfect for this film. He looks like he comes straight from the film noir, the 40s. And he's very easy. I was very nervous on my first day, and he was very generous and, put me at ease and absolutely lovely.
And this one I got to work with Mickey, which was awesome because he is a legend and he's just so good. And it was just really fun to be in some scenes with him. And we have quite a good kind of energy and I think chemistry together. Rosario's back. She's amazing, super sexy. There's nobody like Gail. She's so cool. And then Eva Green, who is the scariest villain you've ever seen. She's so sexy and so beautiful and so evil. You really see such powerful women in this. So it's fun to be part of that.
Here we are, pal. All of a sudden, this doesn't look like the brightest idea you ever had.
You have 10 seconds to tell us what you're doing bringing cops to Old Town.
Gail, it's me.
Dwight. What have they done to you? Get Molly! Get everybody.
Esta película está protagonizada por Josh Brolin, quien interpreta a Dwight, Clive Owen en la cinta original, un tipo alterado físicamente, quien es perseguido por la única mujer a la que ha amado, Ava Lord, Eva Green.
Robert and Frank complement each other very well because Robert's the originator of the Sin City drawings. So he's the one who had the blank canvas and decided, okay, having gone out to Hollywood, having gone, okay, this is not working for me, and reacting to that and coming back and doing something not necessarily for, you know, cinematic purposes. This is what he's going to do from his mind, from the depths of his soul, whatever darknesses are going on. This was his original manifestation. So I think Robert, that's what he hooked into. It was like somebody, an iconoclast like himself, who's doing things based on what he wants as opposed to a model for what other people think sells. And I think that's what you get with both of them. So you get a very visceral reaction from Frank, and you get a technical, incredible technical proficiency from Robert. And those two things coming together makes a very, you know, complete, colorful entity, you know.
Sin City proviene de la larga tradición americana, de la cultura pop de los cómics, así como las despiadadas novelas policíacas y el cine noir de los 40 y 50. Frank Miller relanzó con mucha fuerza el corazón oscuro de la ciudad en cada historia.
It was very exciting to get back, knowing how much fun we had on the first one, and that this one, we all kind of been there before, so we're just going to enjoy it. We had the stories we thought were right this time, finally, after all this time, but also the cast just seemed like it just kept coming and coming. The ideal cast. It was all, it's one of those, if something like that happens to you, there's no one there to be with you when you pinch yourself, you know.
Yeah.
There's both of us there to be going, can you believe how great and how lucky we're getting with this cast? And you know, he knows how much Sin City means to me, but I know much more what it means to him to have written these characters so long ago, never knowing it was going to be a movie. And at some moments, an actor pulls off a very iconic line or scene, and you could just tell this realization, like, oh my God, it just came to life. You know, that feeling, I felt it, and it wasn't even my creation, it was his. But I could feel it for him, and go see him and see him with this big smile on his face. I mean, it was pretty, little miracles like that every day, where of this thing coming to life after so long ago that he wrote them in a vacuum, in a room, just for himself, and now everybody's playing those parts. It's pretty amazing.
I never thought we'd stand a chance against the most powerful man in the state. Maybe I'll go crazy. Crazy's sounding pretty good right now.
Well, Senator,
You got any idea what you're up against? You're up against O'Rourke.
I'm ready for your worst.
Boy, you don't even want to dream about my worst.
You'd be smart to kill me now.
Ava. She betrayed me.
Kill him.
For power and profit.
You've made me a very rich woman.
You cannot defeat us. This time they crossed a fatal line. I need your help. Means going up against a lot of guns.
I'm gonna kill Rourke. Count me in.
Power is a fragile thing. I need them to know the price of defiance. Now, who wants to play?
Looks like trouble.
Looks like Christmas.
You're starting a gang war. And a game for professionals. Never lose control. Never let the monster out.
Después de que el reparto actuara delante de un escenario vacío, llegaba el equipo de efectos visuales de Sin City para colocar cada detalle acerca de los libros de Frank Miller. Soy Víctor X y me despido desde Hollywood hasta una nueva entrega de 35 milímetros. Si quieren saber más acerca de Sin City, síganos en Twitter, 35mm Online, pasen por nuestro Facebook, 35mm TV o entren a nuestro blog, 35mm.com. Si se trata de películas, la información la tenemos primero aquí, en 35 milímetros desde Los Ángeles.